We are here on the first game. It did take a little while for us to get it open, but we did, and this will be Elchboy on Mastermind. And already finding Wowie on the survivor over here. Wowie just holding this corner, but it's gonna get hit from pretty far away. But that is gonna be a stun. And gonna just drop this pallet, try and run around and play the car tile. And with all of the different add-ons we've seen today, it does seem like this is a safe bet to go with. Getting that down awfully quickly. That will be the first hook for the killer. And the first generator getting complete a pain resonance inside of main building. Not main building, but the two-story building. Apologies there. Our killer just breaking this pallet. And it does seem as though he tapped out for a second, but looking for these survivors. We did hear progress still on the two-story building. El Choi is going to use Pop Goes the Weasel on the back of main generator. And Wowie's going to hit the second stage. Still no second generator getting complete just yet. El Choi sees scratch marks. But we don't see the survivor. He could be just sitting there. And that is a camaraderie from the looks of it. Camaraderie just ran out. And a second generator does get complete. Third generator gets complete. And that's gonna be survivors pressuring this hook. Still just sitting here. Do you see a second survivor coming in? And they're trying to get this save. And they're able to get it at the very last second.
Is that the best you've got?
And Fast does take the one-for-one trade, and that is a pain resonance yet again onto the nearby generator. And a very fast unhook. And Wowie getting hit over the pallet through the vault. That is going to be a confirmed first death onto Wowie from El Choi. Now will be an incredibly strong pop goes the weasel onto this generator. It's still just barely over 50%. No, not going to kick it. Instead, going to try and pressure survivors. Now electing to kick the generator. With a 3-gen around main, our killer might decide to just sit here, try and get some regression. Does find Elixir. Only a split second, though. Not going to commit to chase. Trying to listen to see if Ryamu was working on the main building gen, but it was not being progressed, and so Elixir is now again taking chase. That seems to be Hash over there taking chase as well. This is a 2-person chase. Not what the survivors wanted, but it is what Choi wants. L Choi GX trying to get these hits. Looking for the survivors, see some scratch marks. Thinking that they might be able to catch somebody off guard. Finds the survivors resetting! Ryamu and Elixir now in chase together. Ryamu does get M2'd. And now, if El Choi can get a pain resonance hook, this could be game ending. And it is a pain resonance. Only one pain resonance hook left. Onto Elixir, the last fresh survivor. They are able to finish the reset. Elixir does get hit with the M2. Goes for the pallet stun. And Hash going for the save. Well, Elixir is in chase, but El Choi is gonna try and interrupt it. Not quite able to make it there in time. But with 2 survivors infected with the Ouroboros virus, this is going to be very difficult for our survivors to come back out of. All 3 injured. With no progress on this generator. Finding Ryamu. No, Elixir, the fresh survivor. And Elixir vaulting these windows because he knows that this is do or die. The other survivors are able to get the reset off. Elixir running away from the generators. But next to a pain resonance hook.
Playtime is over.
And we do see Ryamu using the spray.
Just started.
L Choi GX looking for Ryamu. Knows that Ryamu is nearby for the unhook. But instead going to try and use Pop Goes the Weasel on one of these generators. Not gonna do it. Instead is going to get the pool, breaking the pallet, and a Pop Goes the Weasel onto this generator now. Finds Hash. I hadn't even seen him myself. This will be Elixir taking chase, getting hit in a very nasty part of the map. And getting the down with the M2. And there we go. We do find another survivor. Ryamu taking the hit. El Choi just gonna use Pop Goes the Weasel onto this generator. Very slowly, these survivors are getting hooked more and more. This generator still with very little progress. Not regressing though. That is Ash taking chase yet again. Alexier fully infected with the Ouroboros virus. And using the spray. Our survivors have been all reset. And so our killer is going to try and find some of them grouped up together. Not gonna be able to get the hit. Instead, he's just gonna break the pallet and have to likely drop chase. Finds Hatch yet again on this generator. Not quite able to get the M2. And this generator is fully blocked from being kicked. Which survivor is this running? I'm not going to be seeing El Choi commit to chase. But because of these pallets and the gen being blocked from being regressed again, our killer cannot do anything else to protect these gens. It is getting harder and harder by the minute. Survivors still not able to prevent the regression. But it does seem as though Hatch is going to be getting caught out here. Not taking the injure, but does take the M2. And El Choi is just going to drop chase. El Choi sees somebody running for the 2-story building. And with this generator almost complete, it's very scary for the killer. They're playing against time. El Choi just looking for survivors. It is getting harder and harder for him to find somebody. And as these gens are becoming harder and harder to regress. It is making it more difficult. You see that Jen has stopped regressing. We don't see the survivor. They are just pre-leaving. And Hash does get found. Troy will not be committing to that chase. And our survivors, again, pre-leaving. Trying to make themselves unchaseable. But Elixir does seem like they are going to be chased. Will be an M1. And committing to the chase this time. That is going to be the grab. And a death hook onto Elixir. The other two survivors both hooked once. And they are going to commit to it, doubling it. However, this is Noed. Hex, no one escapes death. And so, very likely, we will be seeing our killer slugging for the 4K. And this is not going to be the active exit gate. Killer is looking for this survivor. Why is King Kong Ash hiding by the 2-story building, waiting for Ryamu to be picked up? And this will be an opening on the exit gate from the survivor to confirm one out. And very scarcely does get the escape. That will be the end of the first half. 24 Arca to Noed and 12 best. I'm going to be going into the next half in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We will be back sooner than later. And we're loaded on in. You see Alien X this time playing killer. Looking for the survivors and where they spawned. Not able to find anyone just yet, but does find an open chest. Still not able to find anyone. Does seem as though Arca de Noed is off to a really strong start here, but this is the first survivor being caught out. This is Moises. Dan X not able to land a hit. So dropping Chase here, trying to push survivors off of the generators. Does find somebody working on the 2-story generator. Doesn't seem as though there's Panchito crack. And he is going to take the hit here. Panchito is running towards Shaq and is going to be able to delay the M2. But the down is still going to happen. Not able to make the bullet. This will be the first hook and a pain resonance. Not able to hear where that was. We did see a bird land in the playground, so that can only mean that a survivor was already setting up for the unhook. No, this is Ochura Camper getting hit at the last frame of entering the building. And the lucky break is not going to be enough. Alien does get the down onto Ochura Camper inside of main building. Breaks the door to try and get to a hook without any issue. It will be a hook right next to main. And another generator. Up goes the Weasel onto this gen. Will regress it back to beginning. Does hear a whole lot of progress on this gen. Saw El Choi, but not quick enough to get this hit. He's going to try and go for the tunnel. Not able to find the survivor. Panchito going to be forcing Chase. This is El Choi yet again. But a survivor is working on this generator here. Panchito crack. Playing this pallet. Able to play it for long enough to delay the hit. Does get tagged though. And Ochura Camper cleanses the Ouroboros virus with the spray in the distance. Panchito trying to take Chase away from the generators. And getting the down. First generator gets complete for that chase, though. And this is going to be the second hook onto Panchito Crack. And a second generator gets complete. Does seem like our survivors are able to make back up some of the lost time they had earlier. Alien will just try and confirm a state here. Just go for the camp. Sees El Choi in the distance, but not going to commit to it. Just wants to confirm a death at 3 gens, if he can. And because of that, this will end up being a death onto Panchito Crack if they do not come for the unhook in time.
Playtime is over.
And Moises goes for the unhook, but instead gets thrown with the M2. And gets the reverse pallet stun. And that will be a third generator getting complete. Moises almost fully infected here. Going to take the hit. Fourth generator does get complete, however. And with still 3 survivors worth of pain resonance left. This is going to be a second activation. And still having Pop Goes the Weasel. Alien X going to try to prevent another generator from popping, but it's very likely that Pain Resonance has done quite a good job at that. Because the other 2 gens had just been complete when the down happened. El Choi drops the pallet. They instantly go for the spray back at Hook. Alien is trying to mind game main building. Not quite able to happen. And Choi gets to the pallet and is able to run around the outside. And this fence is going to make it tough for our survivors to get hit. This will be an M1, however, on the car. And almost evading that second hit at the pallet. And this will be the last fresh hook of the game. Again, not a Pain Resonance hook. Alien X does see the generator with 50% progress. And he's going to be able to not Pain Resonance, but Pop Goes the Weasel it. Putting it back down to 25%. And unfortunately, collides with the environment with the second activation of the M2. This is gonna be continuing this chase. We do see El Choi in the distance trying to just go for making this chase in his spot of the map. Killer can't afford to chase it. And unfortunately, that is going to be another dropped pallet, delaying this hit even longer. Ochura Camper getting caught next to this generator. And just barely getting hits with the M2 with the last frame. And only getting hit onto the pole by a pixel. Alien X is going to instead go for the generator. And that is a flashbang save, a firecracker save. Off of the grab. Alien X trying his hardest.
I'll see you dead.
And Moises takes the hit. But if this is a pain resonance, and it is, that's gonna mean that that generator cannot be complete. Instead, Ochura does get the other gen in the distance complete, and this is good news for our survivors. Even though there is Noed in play, both of the survivors are already injured, so it only gives a speed boost. We do see Moises going for the gate. He's able to get the escape here, but Alien X needs to push the survivor out in order to confirm this. Alien X sort of walking into the tree for a split second. Able to come back and pick up Ochura. And that will end up being a total of 36 to 36. It was an identical score. This is the first time that this has happened. And so this entire match will rest on who wins the next set. Arca to Noed. 36. Best. 36. The winner of the next set wins the match. It did come down to those last few seconds. Had that been any different by even a fraction of a second, one of the teams would be up in points. Instead, they're tied. We're going to be going into the next match in just a second. Stick around. We have loaded in on Pale Rose. Wowie is playing Spirit, and unfortunately for our survivors, they did bring the wrong offering, and so we will have to issue them a 2-point penalty. But already Panchito Crack getting found. And Wowie taking his chase through, finding the survivor, not able to make anything. And the rest of our survivors likely pumping on gens in the distance. And that is going to be the first down. Panchito Crack getting hooked. Because Pain Resonance is not allowed on Spirit, this will be a hook next to main building, kind of in the middle. We don't see a survivor on this gen. Only main building is the one with progress. And so they are going to be looking for a survivor lurking for the pool. That will be Ochura Camper getting found. And the first generator, the one at main, does get complete. That resets the score for Arca to Noed. Back down to 0. And Ochura Camper taking the first hit. And getting the down on to Ochura Camper. Wowie looking for a good hook. With Agitation is gonna likely make this. Just ever so slightly. Survivors trying to body block, but it was not going to come through. And Panchito Crack takes chase through main. Just barely avoiding. Able to get the hit through the pallet before it is dropped. And this will be Panchito Crack's second hook. And with this hook in the middle of the map, it's going to be difficult for our survivors to progress generators. And a second generator does get complete. And El Choi comes in for the unhook, gets interrupted, but still able to get it. Going for the immediate tag on the BT. Able to find Panchito Crack yet again. But gets a hit through the window. Does seem as though our survivors pumping gens out. With a first death at 2 gens left. And still have a chance to get value out of Pop Goes the Weasel before this generator gets complete. You're trying to commit to it, and it doesn't happen. Instead, Pop Goes the Weasel will also be applying Eruption, and now Wowie is looking for these survivors. Finds El Choi. Might drop this. No, going to commit to this. Trying to get a quick down. Able to get the down onto El Choi. While Eruption is on the generator. And it comes down to the wire of whether or not this generator gets complete for this. It does not get complete. That is another Pop Goes the Weasel and yet another activation of Eruption onto it. Another application of Eruption. And Moises gets caught here. The injured survivor takes chase. And is going to go inside the tile. Gets hit right as the Volt goes through. A last Fresh Hook survivor taking their first hook. And still no progress on this gen. Wowie has a very strong 3 gen right here. Or a 4 gen, I'm sorry. Even better for our killer. It is a very stretched 4 gen, but it is something. And then as Ochura Camper going for the unhook. Wowie trying to just get these hits. Waiting out BT. But must have mistimed it by half a second. Incredibly close. And is able to dodge the hit. But Ochura Camper is the one getting found now. No pallets or volts to make it to. That is going to be a down in main building for Ochura Camper. All survivors have been hooked once. This will be a second hook onto Ochura in the middle of the gens. This generator not being able to be regressed is going to not have Pop Goes the Weasel on it. Able to see El Choi in the grass for only a split second, but able to see it. Wowie waiting for it. And the pallet stun gives El Choi the map. Repressed Alliance is over on this gen. That is a Pop Goes the Weasel. Sees scratch marks for a split second, but does not commit to it. El Choi back behind Shaq. Wowie looking for these survivors. Only a little bit of progress. Does find Moises. And that will be a down onto Moises. Moises gets hooked in the middle of the gens again. generator does get complete, but at what cost? Ochura Camper takes the first hit. The Deathhook survivor taking chase now. But is able to get away from there with a dead hard. El Choi now taking chase into main building. Forcing the hit and the chase onto him. But we also hear Moises in main building as well. El Choi gets picked up before this generator can get complete. And Moises has to leave for Shaq already. Up goes the Weasel will fully set these gens back to 0% progress on all of them. We do see both of the survivors resetting. And Moises did use his dead hard, but Wowie waits it out. Ochura able to get the unhook, and our survivors able to force the BT hit instead of the down. Might allow enough time for Ochura Camper to pick up Moises off the ground. And there is no decisive strike. El Choi hops locker to prevent the slug. This will be another death onto our survivors. Wowie is looking for these survivors. Where are they? Going to fully regress this generator. Our survivors are split up, likely trying to find each other for a reset. But if they get caught out, this could be the end of the game. Ochura Camper hiding near main, and Moises trying to work his way around by the docks towards main building without getting caught. Wowie looking for our survivors where they might be resetting. They are not resetting in basement. And our survivors might be caught out here. Still no eyes on them. And again, no eyes on our survivors. They are slowly working either way towards each other. Only a second or two away from getting that reset off. And Wowie is looking for these survivors where they might have reset. But seeing as no generator has been progressed, the game is not over. Both of our survivors just walking to get to different generators on opposite sides of each other. And there is Moises getting caught out from the killer. This will be a confirmed hit at the window. And a down! For a split second there, we did have an issue with the registering of the hook stage, not the down. Sorry about that. And Killer is going to go for this 4K. They know that they can do it. But Ochura Camper is hiding in the locker. They are trying to go for these outs. And unfortunately, we did see for a split second there that the survivors did bring the wrong med kit as well. We will have to unfortunately penalize them for a yellow med kit, not a common med kit, but an uncommon med kit is what they brought. And it was supposed to be brown, not yellow. So, unfortunately, we do have to give the -5 for that. Killer still looking for the survivor. Our survivor just doing some exercises in the corner of the map to not get crows. And in due time, we will be seeing a bleed out onto Moises, which will deny the last 2 points from our killers. And wow, we might be able to find the survivors over here. And this will be a confirmed bleed out onto Moises. And Wowie is going to be able to close the hatch. And because both exit gates are so close, this will very likely be an endgame collapse kill if we do not find Ochura from the killer. We did see a crow just land, which means Ochura is over there. Still not. There we go, and we do find Ochura. That is a down in the end game. Unfortunately, we don't give additional points for downs in the end game, but there were 4 gens complete. Sorry about that. There were 4 gens complete, I'm being told. And set 2. Arca and Noed won. So far, game one, sorry, not set 2. Best 26. We are going to be going into the next portion of the game. Unfortunately, I do think we are going to also have to issue penalties for the other items. However, I understand there have been a lot of issues lately with the items having penalties for our players, but please, I recommend using Balanced by Daylight because it will, in fact, prevent these sorts of issues from happening. And so I do have to let the team know that this is an additional -10 for missing a toolbox and bringing the wrong flashlight and add-ons for the flashlight. We'll be back in just a moment. Sorry about that. I did not realize that this was undeafened and unmuted. We will be fixing that in 1 second. Sorry about that. we're loaded on in with Panchito Crack on the killer for Arca to Noed. Unfortunately, you do see that the penalty was applied for the -10. And already Panchito Crack finding Elixir. Elixir takes the first hit. And gets downed. Already Panchito Crack getting a very fast start, a very good start. This will be the first hook. And the generator next to Shaq gonna be popped. From Pop Goes the Weasel. Elixir getting unhooked already. Getting found again. This time it's Hash taking chase. No, Elixir running into the phasing spirit. Elixir playing the pallet, but hesitates for half a second, but Dead Hard is gonna prevent the down. But that will be the down now onto Elixir. And the first generator does get complete. And a second hook for Elixir. Do see Ryamu in the distance. Killer gonna pop the generator. Know that there was one survivor at Shaq and Ryamu in the distance by main. This is Wowie taking chase now. No, instead Panchito Crack going back to hook. And Panchito knows that there is somebody around here, but cannot find them. Panchito trying to get this confirmed death. But it's not gonna work. Ash goes for the 1-for-1, but Panchito just wants a kill at 4 gens. And the Volt from Elixir is going to make this chase even longer. Knowing that Elixir does have Dead Hard is going to mean that if Elixir gets Dead Hard off, this will be an incredibly long chase. But runs back to the blocked window. And the second generator gets complete from Best. And that is the Dead Hard and the hit. Third generator from Best. This will be a kill for 2 gens. My bad. And with that, that is going to be 1 death. Everybody else is still fresh. Pop Goes the Weasel with Eruption onto this generator is going to slow it down even more. But we heard Wowie right next to us. And Hash takes chase. gets hit. But a hit through the vault is going to be tasty. And that will be a fresh hook onto Hash. We do see Ryamu in that distance right there. This generator only able to be kicked, I believe, one last time. And our killer looks for these survivors. That is going to be a second wind on to Hash. It was a deliverance from Hash, my bad. Wowie takes the hit and is going to main building. Does not make main building, but that will be the generator getting blocked. And Wowie is a fresh hook survivor. With the unhook already. And that is Ryamu being the last healed survivor getting injured. Ryamu gets hit in the distance. And another survivor getting caught, but applying eruption to as many generators as possible. And Panchito Crack trying to phase to catch up. Able to find the survivor, but not able to land the hit. Able to get it at the pallet, however. And this will be Panchito trying to go around. But Hash is pathing incredibly well. It's going to be tough to get this down. The survivor now getting found. Not playing the pallet, just going around in circles. Panchito decides to drop chase. And that is a 4th generator getting complete. 5th generator finished for that chase. Panchito not able to connect. Trying to get a down onto Ryamu. Ryamu is a fresh survivor still. The exit gates opened. The survivor is running for hatch. And he's able to make it in time. That will be the end of this game. That will be the end of the game, confirming best wins. Set 2. Arca to Noed 4. Best 43. Well played, both teams. I'm very excited to have seen those games. Congratulations for how you both played. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, this has been Epoch of Annihilation. And if you have the chance to, please donate to the fundraiser we have for Doctors Without Borders going. You can find the information and the link about it in our About section on Twitch. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for tuning in.